Welcome back, everybody. It's Ben from the Ben and Bev channel, and today we're going to be talking about Moon Knight's second episode, Summon the Suit. So at the end of last week's phenomenal introduction episode, we begin to see Stephen Grant break down the mystery that is his alternate personalities, and though he's just scratching the surface, he unveils the truth that is the masked vigilante Moon Knight, in an utterly astounding fight scene that left us with our jaws on the floor. This week we pick up with Stephen in bed, very confused by the previous nights and really questioning whether or not any of it happened at all. The masked vigilante, the other personality, Arthur Harrow, or the weird bird god possessing his skull. All of these elements of the story are just as confusing to Stephen as they are to us as the audience, and I think that lens of perception that we see everything through is actually the most effective storytelling device in this series so far. This week's episode being no exceptions, we actually get a lot of internal dialogue, or I guess external dialogue internally between Stephen and Mark as they're beginning to talk to each other in these mirror sequences as we learn the different elements of their lives, though frequently correlated, are almost entirely different. And while Stephen is really having to come to grasp with his whole reality existing long before he himself, as Stephen Grant has, introduced to the new character of Layla, played by Calamawy. She was the voice on the other end of that phone call that Stephen took in that first episode. And when we first meet her, you realize the connection between her and Marc Spector is a lot different than we were expecting. They have a lot more personal connection beyond just being explorers and archaeologists together. And though the whole episode, Stephen really is just in the wake of figuring out what exactly happened last night, Layla shows up without giving him even a chance to think about those events and throws some even more intriguing questions into the mix.
Not trying to give away too much here.
But as her and Stephen are trying to break through the Marc Spector personality and really figure out what it is, why he's talking this way, and if he's really forgotten everything that's happened to them over these last few months, we're very quickly pulled into the chaos as both Khonshu and Arthur Harrow begin to make a play. Khonshu just trying to get Mark into power to prevent that scarab from getting into Arthur's hands, and Arthur, being Stephen's boss, reports him to the museum's security and has him reported as insane. Well, at first it seems like they're just trying to lend a helping hand to someone who's doing really horrible. It turns out it's just another Arthur Harrow mystery.
We all know there's something a little bit fishy about that, and
the way everything ties together and develops from last week's episode, combined with the Mr. Knight appearance as well as the increased presence of both Mark, Khonshu, and Layla, elevate this series even more. These new dynamics work really great together, and though the action's been light so far, it's this really strong story and narrative and characters that have really pushed everything forward, and I'm really excited to see where they go with it, especially with the introduction of this Mr. Knight character as well as the whole pantheon of Egyptian gods that they could introduce within this war between Khonshu and Amet. There's really no telling what heights we can go to. And once again, they really capped everything off with a really great closing scene that teases for the next episode. The final seconds of both these last episodes have just felt like a scream for more. Also really cool to see Moorehead and Benson entering the MCU.
nice.
Make sure to leave a like below if you guys enjoyed the video, and leave a comment if you enjoyed this week's episode of Moon Knight. We'll see you next time. Ben and Bev, out.